Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, August the 22nd. We have a very intelligent man with us today from the University of Missouri, Scott Christensen. Good to have you here, Scott.
Thank you very much, Paul.
And of course, you dealing with artificial intelligence. We've had several sessions with you in AI. Today, you wanted to take a slightly different angle with artificial intelligence in medicine.
Yes. There are lots of ways that these new breakthroughs in artificial intelligence are being put to good use in medicine, specifically in radiology and in pathology. And the reason for that is these computers that do what we call machine learning, which is kind of a subset of AI, are very good at recognizing patterns. So we can train them how to recognize patterns.
It seems strange to hear you say you can train the machine.
Right.
So you're training the computer like you would be training a human being.
Right. Well, think about, here's an example that most of your listeners may be familiar with. Facebook. You upload a photo to Facebook, and let's say it's you and I here in the studio, and you upload that to your Facebook profile, and it says, would you like to tag Scott Christensen? How does the computer know that that's Scott Christensen? Well, because there's been lots of other photos uploaded where somebody has said, hey, that's Scott Christensen.
So even if you're not a friend?
No, we would have to be friends. We're
you
friends,
have to be friends. Right. No, but I mean, if you're not a friend on Facebook.
That's more of a privacy concern, but it's really that you'll notice that when you upload photos and it has your friends in it, it will say, do you want to tag this person? Because it has had enough training data that it knows what Scott Christensen looks like.
But you have to tell it that you want it to tag him.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's just one example of recognizing patterns, right? So you recognize me because of the different patterns in my face and other things like that. And if we have a lot of data, a computer can also learn what I look like or what you look like. In medicine, you think about a radiologist. Why they're very good at being a radiologist is because they can recognize patterns and they can say, okay, this might be potentially lung cancer, it might be pneumonia, or it might be a breast cancer scan. And those radiologists get better and better as their careers go on. But these computers, if we can feed them a lot of data, will get very good at recognizing these things as well.
Faster, too.
Faster. So there was one thing that I found recently. It was pretty interesting where radiologists used AI. The accuracy and the reading times both improved. So they're pairing the radiologist with the AI, so the AI is able to kind of help them along in looking at these patterns. And not only were they able to get better accuracy, but they were able to decrease by half the amount of time it took to read these things. So getting results back much quicker.
So is this being used in medicine in other ways also besides radiology?
I think pathologists are starting to use this as well because once again, a pathologist is going to look at some tissue sample and is going to try to recognize patterns that might indicate precancer cells or cancerous cells. And so those are two areas that are probably the most amenable. There was another one I saw where they were actually using it on patients in a hospital to predict whether they might be at risk for kidney failure. And this AI algorithm was able to predict up to 2 days in advance that, okay, Scott might be at a risk for kidney failure. And doctors already had calculations on how to do this, but they found this is about 20% more accurate. So we're starting to see that happen, and I think it'll be deployed very quickly. And so the next time you and I have a problem where we have to have a radiology consult, it's probably likely that there'll be some AI helping that radiologist.
And AI also then could probably, in the foreseeable future, speed up the curing and healing process.
Well, it depends. I mean, there's a lot of expert judgment that our doctors use in there, and that's not something that AI is good at, right? So it's really more about, is there a pattern? Can we recognize a pattern? And you think about it with a radiologist, they might look at an X-ray, and they might say, well, I think this person has cancer, and then the biopsy would come back, and that would determine whether that diagnosis was true or not. There are what we call false positives. So sometimes they might think that, okay, this person has cancer, but it turns out they don't. That's called a type 1 error by our statisticians. And they might also have a false negative. So they might say it's clear, and it turns out it was cancerous.
But will the AI help improve these statistics?
So far, even the AI that's being tested right now, by being able to feed it lots and lots of data. So one study I saw, they fed 30,000 x-rays from 16,000 patients for whom they knew the outcome, and were able to train the AI, and it got better or as good as a human. So some really great advances. And so when you start to hear things like precision medicine and big data and analytics being talked about in our local news about the university here, that's the kind of stuff they're looking at, is how do you do this type of prediction.
What do you see 5 years from now or 10 years from now with AI?
I think that AI in these areas with where we're looking at patterns will be used an awful lot. I think you'll start to see it even in financial transactions. So you're looking for fraud, you're looking for different patterns, right? So there's places in accounting, there's places in healthcare, and I think that's what we're going to see. I think our students are going to have to learn how they are not going to be replaced by AI, but how they work with AI.
And this is, we're concerned about hacking in our voter system. Can AI be hacked and manipulated?
Generally, these are kind of closed systems. So in much the same way that university, the healthcare records, they're kind of closed systems. So within those walls, it seems unlikely that it would be hacked.
So an evil villain couldn't get in there and manipulate things around to...
No, I don't see that as a real danger in this type of application.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's interesting, Scott, what you have to say. I'm always fascinated to listen to you.
Well, I'm glad we're able to talk about it.
Yes, so am I.
I think we're going to hear more and more about this, and our physicians and accountants are going to start to talk to us about it as well.
Is there someplace people can go online to find out more?
Yes. So since we've been talking about this, I created a little website. It's just called learnabout.ai.
So if you go to learnabout.ai.
Yeah, no .com or anything like that, just .ai, and it will have the studies that I just mentioned, as well as some of the other papers and apps that I showed previously.
Okay, it's learnabout.ai. Scott Christensen, thank you so much for coming by. Please come back again.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If there's something you'd like to hear or see, drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Go out and have yourself a nice day and be nice to each other. Okay? Bye-bye.